Be nice to know what she does and who she's good for. She's amazing with Ayaka, but actually, that's the thing. I don't think she actually is that good with Ayaka, right? Because look at this. This is her main like cryo damage bonus here, right? Whenever anything deals cryo damage to opponents, the damage is increased based on Shenhe's current attack, right? So if you're using her for support, you might even use double attack or even triple attack, right? You might want to use an attack crown and an attack cup and an attack sands. Kind of like for Yoon Jin, if you're using her for pure support for Yoon Jin, you'd probably use triple defense items. But it's only, so when crowd damage attacks multiple opponents, the effect is triggered multiple times, which means that it'll consume, if you hit like even with Ganyu in AoE, right? If say there's 5 enemies and you do like a press E and it gives you 5 stacks, right? That gives you 5 stacks down here, you can see. That means it'll hit 5 enemies and then it'll consume all the stacks. So that means with Ayaka, who does rapid attacks with her swirling burst, this is actually going to consume stacks so fast, and it's not actually going to be that good with her. It'll just be the initial hit will be good, and then after that, after the initial hit, it'll go back to normal damage. Maybe if you have a skill that snapshots, it would be good, right? So like if you had maybe like Kaya's burst, it could be good because it'll probably snapshot with this. But Ayaka's doesn't snapshot. I don't know if Ganyu's snapshots, but if Ganyu snapshots, that could be good with it then for her burst. But I keep thinking about like maybe constellations. What are her constellations? This allows you to get a second charge of her E. C1 will definitely help you with uptime on that. So that's good. This has her burst and gives a little bit extra damage to your burst in your burst field, which is good. When characters are under the effect of her elemental skill, Shenhe will gain Sky Frost Mantra stack. When Shenhe uses Spirit Summoning, she will consume all stacks of Sky Frost Mantra, increasing the damage of Spirit Summoning by 5%. So this will just increase the damage of her elemental skill. And when Icy Quill's effects use normal charges, they don't count towards the trigger quota. So this would be good with Ayaka, right? C6 Shenhe will be good gets her current attack boosted by Bennett's burst. Yes, she does. So like Shenhe and Bennett would be good together. But rest in peace if you have... Does Ayaka's infusion get overwritten by Bennett's? Or does hers not? I know Kaching's does, but I don't know if Ayaka's does. But rest in peace if you have C6 Bennett, because then you can't do Ayaka. But like C6 Shenhe, like who's going to get C6 though? But only like either super lucky people or whales. C6 I think can see is going to be really good with like... Even if you could even do like main DPS Shenhe if you use like Chongyun, right? And then have her normal and charge attacks be boosted by her thing. I'm excited for Shenhe. I think she's gonna be a cool character, but I'm just like, who is she really designed for? Is it a character that's not in the game yet? Or is it Ganyu? But if it's Ganyu, then it's her AoE, like the fact that her stacks get consumed per enemy super fast makes me feel that Ganyu will make it, like Ganyu won't be that good in AoE situations with her, but on single target, Ganyu will be great. I don't know. I mean, obviously C6, Ganyu won't consume the stacks, and so she'll be God tier with Ganyu at C6, right? Ganyu's charge shots won't consume the stacks at C6. So that's really good. But like Ayaka's burst is just gonna tear through the stacks because Ayaka's burst does something like 50 strikes or 25 strikes or something like that. So you're not gonna be able to use the stacks on every single attack from Ayaka's burst. You'll at best get stacks for, if you have C1, you'll be able to get 14 at best, which is kind of like still good, but I don't know how good. Obviously, it'll depend on when you get, like, when we actually get her and what those numbers are. I don't know. C6 Shenhe, I think, is going to be God tier. C1 will be really good. C1 will be really good. But I think Shenhe is a character that's going to be so crippled by her constellations that it's going to be, like, not worth unless you have constellations for Shenhe, which is really sad to say. Yeah. Oh, well, it's, yeah, elemental burst cryo damage. So her burst might even consume the stacks, right? The damage over time effect of her burst doesn't seem that strong, right? This is the damage over time part of her burst. But we don't know yet if her burst consumes her own stacks. That's going to be problematic and clash because you get an extra cryo damage bonus if you are within her burst, and if you have C2, then you get an extra 15% cryo crit damage if you're within her burst. But then if her burst is consuming stacks, then that's going to be problematic, because then you're going to be wanting your main DPS to be consuming those stacks. But beyond C6 Shenhe, I feel like the damage buff just lasts, like goes away so quickly that you definitely wouldn't want to use Ganyu's burst during this. You would want to use Ganyu's charged attacks, not C6. Ayaka, I don't even know, because her charge attack does like 4 or 5 attacks, and so that's gonna, or like 3 attacks or something like that from Ayaka's charge attack, so that's gonna consume right off the bat 3 stacks. And you only get if you do a hold E7. So I guess you would try to do it with Ayaka's burst and just hope you crit off your initial hits. Works best with Cryo Traveler. Yeah, right. That would be hilarious. Cryo Traveler is probably gonna be the last element we get to for Traveler. The weirdest thing is this part right here. I can't highlight it, but the fact that when cryo damage instance, when one cryo damage instance, so one attack, strikes multiple opponents, this effect is triggered multiple times based on the number of opponents' hits. So if you hit 4 or 5 enemies at once, it consumes 4 or 5 stacks all at once. I mean, you get to double, with C1, you get to double the amount of stacks you can have. C1, I think, will be very strong for Shenhe, right? Because I think C0 Shenhe is just going to be, I don't know. Like, I think you're just going to go through your stacks so fast that's just not, you're not even going to be able to really benefit from it that much. Unless you have like large one-hit attacks like Ganyu is really the only thing I can see, right? You don't pop her burst until you've consumed all the stacks, and you just do charge attacks. Because her burst does like not very much damage per hit, and it does a lot of rapid cryo hits. And that's literally the only character I can really see right now. She definitely seems to be favoring normal and charge attack users. Slow, normal, and charge attack users. That seems to be what she favors, but can pair with burst users, especially if you do like one-hit burst users. But I don't know if there's no cryo character that does like big one-hits. I think she's gonna be cool. I think her true potential with the cryo characters we have out right now hasn't been fully realized unless you have C6. Or at least C1. C1 seems to be huge for helping her like be truly optimal with cryo DPS. But like you need like big one-hit bursters.